Business time. Stephen's with us here on Set, so let's move across to have a chat with him. Stephen, big day ahead for Facebook boss Mark Zuckerberg, of course.
That's right. He's going to be speaking to US lawmakers, and he's going to tell the US Congressional Committee that the social network didn't do enough to stop its platform being used for harm. Mark Zuckerberg will also explain what the company is doing to remedy the scandals around improper use of user data and the spread of fake news. Now, that includes investigating suspicious apps after the Cambridge Analytica controversy on the issue of Russian interference in the US election via the social network. Zuckerberg will talk about the company's increased investment in security. According to his prepared remarks, the Facebook CEO will say, "We didn't take a broad enough view of our responsibility, and that was a big mistake. It was my mistake," he'll say, "and I'm sorry." That hearing set to get underway at 18:15 GMT, and of course we'll have that live for you on France 24. Next, China's president says he'll cut import tariffs on cars and improve protection of intellectual property in moves seen as an attempt to defuse the trade tensions with the United States. China currently imposes a 25% levy on most car imports, an issue that US President Donald Trump has singled out in the past. Xi Jinping says he would ease restrictions on foreign ownership in the motor industry too.
Economic globalization is an irreversible trend of the time. I want to tell everyone clearly that the door of China's opening up will not close, it will only open wider and wider.
Well, that's somewhat olive branch from President Xi, giving the market some cheer in trading today. We've got a bounce on European shares at the open of trading in Europe. Frankfurt DAX up by 1% at the open, gains 2 across London and Paris as well. Here in France, the shares in the luxury group LVMH, owners of Louis Vuitton, of course, up 4.5% at the open after their first quarter sales. Good day for them. Over in Asia, the Nikkei in Tokyo was up by 0.5% at the end of trading, but those remarks from President Xi Jinping also giving a boost across the rest of the Asian markets. Shanghai and Hong Kong both up there by over 1%. Now, Air France says the series of recent strikes at the airline have cost it €170 million. Staff have staged walkouts on 7 days since February as part of an ongoing dispute over pay. Around a quarter of the airline's flights are cancelled today, with more strikes planned later this month. Unions are seeking a general pay rise for staff, but pilots are seeking even more. Nicholas Rushworth has the story.
Air France says 3 out of 4 flights will take off as normal this Tuesday, with more than 1 in 3 pilots on strike. While the cross-the-board pay demand is for 6%, pilots want a 10.7% pay rise to make up for the lack of a general pay hike since 2011. They say they have been 20% more productive.
The company is doing well. It counted on the employees when things were going badly. Now it's time to unblock the situation.
The management disagrees, saying pilots had individual increases of more than 10% between 2011 and 2017 in the form of bonuses and promotions. This analyst says the pay demand is not justified.
The company isn't entirely back on its feet yet. It's doing better, but still has a lot of debt. And Air France pilots have a very high income compared to other pilots at other airlines. Asking for a 10% pay rise when you earn €12,000 a month is obviously not reasonable when other staff are earning €2,000.
In Europe, Lufthansa has increased pay by 9% since 2012 for its pilots, British Airways by 18%. In terms of work done, Air France pilots fly 700 hours per year compared to 780 at Lufthansa and 850 hours at Ryanair. Unions at Air France plan another 4 days of strike action this month on the 17th, 18th, 23rd and 24th.
Well, now Air France passengers aren't the only ones facing disruption today. Lufthansa has been forced to cancel some 800 flights over a public sector strike in Germany. The action affecting ground crew and airport firefighters. Cancellations represent around half of Lufthansa's daily schedule. Germany's largest airport in Frankfurt has warned of significant delays and cancellations affecting many airlines. Well, finally from me, Netflix is now known as, of course, one of the biggest players in streaming video, but it did start out as a DVD rental service. Nowadays, the DVD business is worth just $450 million a year out of overall revenues of almost $12 billion. But it's interesting to see what people have rented over the years and what they're continuing to rent. Back in 1998, The Big Lebowski was the most rented film on Netflix. In 2004, it was The Notebook. In 2016, it was Sully, that film about the pilot landing the plane in the Hudson River. And in 2017, it was Wonder Woman. Now, the number of subscribers to this service have been dropping out pretty rapidly. In the United States last year, the DVD arm lost around a fifth of its subscribers. But there are still, believe it or not, Stuart, more than 3 million people signed up to the idea of the old Netflix where you used to get a DVD in the post, like a treat.
DVD in the post, 3 million people, my goodness. People still have machines even, I'm quite surprised. Oh well.